gentlemen, Gungans, and droids across the beloved Empire. And a special shout out to all of our Inquisitors keeping the streets and the galaxy free of Jedi and Rebel Phil. To today's video of Odd Old Howlnet News, the only news you ever need because you have no other choice, where we are getting our first look at what the next big thing is for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and that is Jedi Fallen Order content. But there's some interesting key points you gotta know. Apparently, we're getting a full Inquisitor team, brand new, starting off with the second sister, but allegedly, her Iden are not going to be required for any sort of specific event like Starkiller. So that leads us to a couple of interesting points of discussion today. I assume this character is coming on Thursday. It is a marquee character. If you want to see this Imperial unit show how great it is being the Empire today, you guys know where to be on Thursday later on this week. Let's go ahead and bring on over. There's a lot of important things we're going to talk about. Obviously, the kit reveal is thing number one that we're going to talk about here. We're also going to talk about a little bit of this podcast. I'll leave a link down below to Galactic Warport. They had kind of like a early access interview with the developers, and one of our beloved viewers here, Ice Age Fighter, actually wrote the cliff notes for it all. And some important things you got to know, especially about whether or not, one, we're getting more to fill up this faction. Spoiler alert, we are. And secondly, she's not going to be needed for some sort of event like the characters were for Starkiller earlier on here. So, let's take a look at this right here. New debuff that augments Inquisitor's abilities called Purge, Terror, and Territory War. So, Territory War, Omicron, preventing Jedi enemies from healing from unique abilities. I'm wondering what this is trying to target. I'd be very surprised if Kenobi finally gets some sort of hard counter in this game that isn't a galactic legend, since he's the only one pretty much untouched by non-GL type of characters out there. Begin the hunt, pierce your opponent's armor, and devastate your target. Now, they're showing some synergy suggestions of Darth Vader, Admiral Piet, Moff getting Grand Admiral Thrawn, but we have this brand new tag, the Inquisitors, and we have confirmation we are getting more to fill out this faction. And you know, once upon a time, I thought the unaligned Force user tag was kind of dumb. Unaligned Force users are becoming more and more important, especially if you have Starkiller. Yeah, you might run out of unaligned Force users after you get rid of Asajj, you get rid of the Kylos. So I'm actually kind of welcoming more unaligned Force users, but I think we're mostly gonna see this Imperial and Inquisitorious tag at work here. And I just actually want to dive straight into this. Will there be more Inquisitors in the near future? Difficult to say, as no one expects the Inquisition. But the real answer is yes. Don't look too much into this. I think this is just a little a little shout out to this clip right here. Nobody expects the Imperial Inquisition. I thought it was a nice little throwback to put in there. But let's go ahead and take a look at the kit reveal that we have for the second sister. I'm kind of wondering if they're timing this out, because today we got big confirmation that Respawn's working on 3 games. They're working on a strategy game. I'm hoping it's like an Empire at War type of sequel type of thing. They're also releasing a shooter game, which we don't know much about. I'm hoping it's a multiplayer shooter. And thirdly, they're working on a Jedi sequel, which it seems like that's our confirmation that they're working on Jedi Fallen Order 2. So maybe this is just a build on top of the hype that EA Respawn was releasing today. Looks pretty good from this model. Right here, so we'll have to wait and see what it looks like in game. I'm just happy we got fidget spinner sabers finally. Oh man, all right, let's get into this. Ruthless Inquisitor attacker that specializes in eliminating the Jedi. Basic ability, so much fear. There's that fidget spinner at work so far. I just want the ability where, like in Rebels, they like fly away. That was one of the most, that was the second most out of Star Wars context thing since the Vespa and Book of Boba Fett. So much fear, basic ability, deal special damage with the target enemy and inflict 1 stack of Purge. Keep track of the Purge, because in Purge is going to be important if the target is an enemy, which can't be resisted. Additionally, this attack has a 30% chance to inflict 1 stack of Purge to the target enemy, which can't be resisted. And here's what Purge does. Increase the effects from enemies that utilize Purge, which lasts until the end of the encounter and cannot be copied or prevented. Ooh, you got to read the rest of the kit to really understand what's going on here. Special 1, shall I end this with a cooldown of 3. Deals special damage to target enemy. This ability has 150% defense penetration. And if the target is inflicted a Purge, this ability has plus 100% critical chance and plus 50% critical damage. I'm hoping it's like when you get the defense penetration there, you're getting increased critical chance, so hopefully a guaranteed critical hit and extra critical damage. I'm hoping we're really going to lean into this attacker side of her kit here, where we're going to be able to get some good damage out of her, you know. They didn't say she's high single fire damage, so I guess that's a good thing so far. Anytime they say high single fire damage, we kind of clench our seats and like, oh boy, it's gonna hit like a wet noodle, as we kind of saw with Omega and Talon for the most part. Special number 2, and this is a little bit too beefy of a texture here. Can't run forever. Cooldown of 5. Deal special damage to target enemy and consume up to 5 stacks of Purge. If any stacks of Purge were consumed, grant second sister critical damage up for 2 turns, and this ability has a 50% chance to inflict stun for 1 turn. For each stack of Purge consumed, remove 20% terminator from the target enemy, and second sister gains 10% terminator, which can't be evaded. And if the target has 5 or more stacks of Purge, you stun them for 1 turn, which can't be resisted. So the biggest question is, how fast is this Purge gonna spread throughout the entire team? Because man, a guaranteed stun lock, I'm assuming that's gonna bypass, for example, the high tenacity baked into a Jedi Master Kenobi team. That would be kind of nice. Right now, more than ever, this game, we already have enough counters for almost all the Galactic Legends for the most part. It's really Kenobi. I don't want to say this is gonna go as far as counter Kenobi, but right now, Kenobi, he is a tough cookie to crack. You basically have to throw a Galactic Legend or throw 2 or 3 good non-GL teams at it to try to pick it apart, as we kind of saw the other day. But anyways, here's the leadership ability. I think this is going to make a lot more sense moving forward when we see the rest of the Inquisitors coming around the corner. But this has the Omicron, Territory War based Omicron. Empire allies gain 5% offense, and Inquisitorious allies, it's weird that they didn't just call them the Inquisitors, they're just Inquisitorious allies gain an additional 30% offense. All right, but other Inquisitorious allies have a 30% chance to inflict 1 stack of Purge when using a basic ability, which can't be copied or resisted. And whenever an ally is marked, I think this is pretty funny. Whenever an ally is marked, mark all other allies for 2 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, or prevented. That is a little bit odd. It sounds like this is more of a direct call out to Jedi Knight Revan. Jedi Knight Revan's got the direct mark that he can help you navigate around a taunt. Well, this basically, it seems like it's a way to really mess with the AI. So I'm a little perplexed why we need this. Jedi Knight Revan's not really seen on defense anymore. He's mostly an offensive-based character to help with Master Kenobis, the raid teams. He's very helpful in a lot of situations out there. On the offensive, not so much a defensive team, but hypothetically, let's say you try to mark down Trilla, I believe her name is, or the second sister. Everyone gets marked, so the AI just goes back to normal, just randomly hitting people rather than direct focusing on one particular character. So it's curious. Maybe there's something more moving forward. Allegedly, Cal isn't coming right now. Doesn't mean he's never coming. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they're trying to throw us off a scent here. But in territories, enemies start the battle with 2 stacks of Purge. Jedi enemies can't recover health or protection. From Jedi unique abilities, excludes Galactic Legends. So this part right here, Galactic Legends won't be affected, but the rest of the team should be. It's going to be interesting to see how this kind of works, because man, if enemies can't recover health or protection and Kenobi's trying to help out as much as possible, this might be kind of interesting. This might be pretty interesting to see how this ends up working out here. It's kind of weird, because right now, that's what I'm bringing this up. We don't really see Master Luke's on defense. We don't really see Jedi Revan's best. Maybe this is more of a lower tier thing. In my division, in the free-to-play account, on the lower side of the spectrum, free-to-play, there's a lot more Jedi Revan and stuff like that. So maybe this isn't meant for endgame stuff. Maybe it's kind of forewarning us on what's to come and trying to give us ways to counter what's to come. Just seems a little bit weird right now, because there's really only one Jedi team people are struggling with for the most part. And obviously that is going to be Jedi Master Kenobi. Unique ability. Everyone is expendable. Has a Zeta. Second sister gains 50% critical damage, which is going to be great stacking up with those earlier abilities that we saw. Her special abilities can't be evaded when attacking an enemy with 1 or more stacks of Purge. Whenever an enemy or an Empire ally is defeated, second sister gains bonuses for the rest of the encounter. The first Empire ally, this is great, 35 speed. I mean, why wouldn't you want more Empire allies on a team? Second Empire ally or enemy, 100% defense penetration. Third Empire ally or enemy, plus 50% critical damage. It sounds like, again, on paper is one thing, in action's another. I think 2021, we learned a lot of our lessons in regards to these characters that seem like high damage, but we're seeing a lot of defense penetration. We're seeing a lot of extra damage on these characters. Critical chance, all these other offensive boosts here. It sounds like she should hit like a monster. We'll have to wait and see when we do our testing later on this week here. I gotta say, overall, I like characters that seem like they have most of their kit outside of an Omicron. This Omicron seems like it might be nice for territories. I'm just not sure yet if this is going to be something Master Kenobi-wise, it seems like it might be viable. Right now, I'm not really quite sure if this Omicron's 100% worth it if we're not seeing a lot of Jedi defensive-based teams out there for the most part in Galaxy Heroes. Seems like a pretty neat little thing here, and boy, there's easily a couple of Inquisitors they could add. The question is, are they going to stick to Fallen Order Inquisitors that we saw? Or maybe the Inquisitors that we saw inside of the Rebel TV show? They're more or less kind of within the same timeline. Maybe a Grand Inquisitor of some sort down the road here. Let's move on to these little notes that Ice Age Fighter, one of our beloved Kyber Club VIP viewers, kind of wrote up for us. In case you don't have time to watch the podcast, please do. Galactic Warport, they've been kind of CG's outlet for pretty much since the dawn of the game to get access to them, interviews, all that fun stuff. A few things I think it's important to point out. She is supposed to have amazing animations. I mean, based off this, I was really hoping for more, I mean, it looks clean. I was really hoping for some fidget spinner action, but you know, I guess you can't have it all. It seems okay. We'll have to be the judge. I think there's more interesting animations than this, for example. All Inquisitors, this as well, a second confirmation. There will be a full Inquisitor team pretty soon. That might be where those 3 marquee characters that we saw in the data mine, it's probably alluding to this, which I'm surprised it's not Book of Boba Fett stuff. All Inquisitors will have a lead that targets a specific Jedi. So, we'll have to wait and see what the next ones are. Right now, with Trilla's lead, second says I keep calling her Trilla, she looks more for a Jedi Knight Revan type of thing. Maybe there's going to be a different type of lead out there that might be more direct targeted, maybe towards a Kenobi. It's hard to say right now, but it's kind of cool that each Inquisitor is going to have a different Jedi they're trying to target, for example. And then we kind of talked with the second sister's lead is meant to target Jedi Knight Revan. When an ally gets marked, all allies get the mark debuff. So then the AI can attack whoever they want, and she'll be more effective on attack. The new mechanic Purge is a debuff only in name. It will do extra damage based on the stacks of Purge. At 5 or 6, there's irresistible stun, as we know. And I think this is the most important thing, because right now when I saw this, I'm like, okay, are we being fooled? Are we doing another Star Killer event? Even though they said that Star Killer was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing they have the opportunity to do. They say it's sorry, again, they emphasize Star Killer was the unique thing with the timing of the marquees and the event. So no second sister and Ida needed for an event. Now, we don't know how long this promise stands for. Maybe it's just for the foreseeable future. I don't know this excludes it from ever being needed for events sometime down the road, perhaps. For example, Hermit Yoda, way back when they said they would never require Hermit Yoda for an event, and well, you need Hermit Yoda to get Jedi Master Luke Skywalker ultimately at the very end of the journey. So not to say this probably will never ever be needed for something, but I do find it curious that we're getting all this Fallen Order stuff, which is pretty cool. I mean, people have been requesting Fallen Order stuff for a long time, and Inquisitors as well inside of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And this is our first dip into Fallen Order content. It makes me want to believe if we're going to get all these Inquisitors, maybe at some point in the future, maybe not near future, I can see the Inquisitors maybe being required for a Cal Kestis down the line, especially if we're getting close to a Jedi Fallen Order 2. I think it'd be perfect timed. Right now, CG's finally cashing in on some of the more successful games that, well, Battlefront 2 was a little rough, got better, and then got shut down. But CG doesn't really play around with EA games. Magmature was the only character that came out from previous EA Star Wars games at large. Not just a random Galactic War Sword character. Man, those are the good days when they did Galactic War characters right out the get-go, right away. So time will tell if we're going to see it. Curious to see if we can maybe make use out of Darth Vader. Darth Vader's kind of in a weird spot. I mean, he does work at Palpatine Mara Jade, but Palpatine Mara Jade kind of gets stolen for a Star Killer. Palpatine Mara Jade can sometimes work without Darth Vader. I would really like to see Darth Vader be I want him to feel more core to something. Right now, he feels like an afterthought in the teams that I end up throwing. He's not the core, like Mara Jade is the core to Palpatine nowadays. It'd be really cool to see. It seems like Inquisitors are going to do their own thing, but I would love to see Darth Vader come to the front of the light. So, guys, I'm going to pass the question on over to you. You guys think we're being bamboozled? I mean, this is the second time they're saying that she's not going to be needed for an event. Star Killer was a once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity. I don't know if that precludes Cal Kestis coming. Now we're seeing Fallen Order stuff. I would actually be surprised if we don't ever see Mirren and if we don't ever see Cal Kestis. Ladies and gentlemen, Gungs and Droids, it's great to be the Empire today, starting off 2022 with the Imperial movement stronger than ever before. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing, and always remember, it's great to be in the Empire today.